And so the prodigal returns. In short order, after the king told his younger son directly about his cancer diagnosis, Harry was on his way back to England. It is fitting. If there is one thing that cancer does, it is to concentrate everyone's minds. And this useful reminder of the king's vulnerability has had the result of bringing the prodigal son back home. And, if the parable is apt, his father will meet him halfway. Serious illness puts things into perspective, and the human response to a cancer diagnosis is to look at the wretched squabbles and to see them for the insignificant things they are. The Duke is reminded of his father's vulnerability, and he's done the good and decent thing by coming home. Harry has put on the record that after a fraught meeting between the king and his sons in the wake of the Duke of Edinburgh's funeral, that his father pleaded with the brothers, "Please, boys, don't make my final years a misery." You could say this gesture is a response. Having said which, it is frankly grounds for relief that Harry comes without his lovely wife. Bluntly, there are probably few elements of the rift between the king and his son that are not aggravated by his wife Meghan. She has done her bit for the success of the meeting by staying put in California. Well done her. There are grounds for the king to feel aggrieved at the Sussexes' willingness to give offence and take offence, and sharing what should be private family confidences with an inquisitive world. But Robert Hardman, in his biography of the king, has observed that, although he is sad about the estrangement, nothing is final. "You'd always like your child back," said a senior official. "The door is always open. And now the prodigal is coming through it." It may also be tactful for Camilla to absent herself from the scene during the meetings between father and son. Harry correctly identifies Camilla as a crucial contributory cause in the breakdown of his parents' marriage, and he suggested in his memoir that she had revealed details about him to the press. It may or may not be so, but if she is less omnipresent than usual when the king meets his son, it may help. But the parable of the prodigal son had, if you recall, a sting in the tail. There was the disgruntled elder brother who talked disgustedly about "this son of yours" and declined to join the welcome party. And in the case of Harry's elder brother, the sentiment is pretty well identical. Things may change, of course, but right now there is no sign of the rapprochement between Prince Harry and his father extending to his brother. If, as Robert Hardman says, the king tries to keep the relationship with his son civil and pragmatic rather than confrontational, Prince William feels the resentment only possible between brothers who were once very close. He and his wife are reliably reported to detest Meghan and to despise the way Harry has gone all Californian with his army of therapists. He is said to feel he can't recognise his brother anymore. But to return to the bright side, Harry's return to his father in difficult times may be all that is needed to re-establish a kindly father-son relationship. If one of the functions of monarchy is to be the human condition writ large, it may give an example of reconciliation to other estranged families. The sad aspect of the whole thing is that the king's condition would, in a different scheme of things, have been Harry's opportunity to shine. In the slimmed-down monarchy envisaged before his departure from California, Harry would have played an important role in this scenario. He could have fulfilled some of his father's public functions, especially those associated with the military, and he could have been a human and engaging projection of the monarchy. As matters stand, he may well return to California after a few days, to brood on his and Meghan's latest Netflix projects. It is not a happy prospect. Is it too late to hope that he may see how shallow that life looks from outside? Having vented his sentiments about feeling trapped as a royal, might there be a chance he could re-enter that world willingly, as a matter of public duty? It is unlikely his wife would embrace the idea, but compromise might be possible. Perhaps she could stay put in California for much of the time, with the children travelling between them. And, with a decent period of reticence, perhaps he and his brother might talk again. But for now, we can applaud Harry's decent behaviour. When our parents are ill, we should rally around. We should let old grievances lie. We should practice forgiveness. The king was careful to telephone his sons to tell them about his diagnosis before they heard about it from others. That was right and proper. So too is this visit. The king will take pleasure, as any father would, from his son's return. And perhaps he may persuade the prodigal's elder brother to share his joy. We don't know what happened in the parable in the end, but it's possible.